Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our first of many live sessions. Today, obviously, we're going to talk about what is love. We have a couple of topics that are we're going to address here. I think that first and foremost, again, we want to thank everybody who's participating, watching us live, sending us their comments and questions. Ultimately, what we will be doing going forward is we'll not only be hosting these live sessions, but we want this to be as interactive as possible. So we are finding a platform which will allow you to send us questions and comments as we're streaming. And depending, obviously, on the topic, we'll be able to respond to you.
For the moment, I'm going to be here with my phone and writing here to everyone that joins in and checking on what you have to say. I am happy that we're going to begin.
That doesn't look happy. I'm just joking. That looks crazy.
I know, but that's part of me. I'm crazy happy.
That's right, and that's how we're going to be. So the audience is going to have a good time with us as well. We're not going to sit here and give you a boring spiel and make you feel robotic. This is really meant for everybody to feel comfortable when we talk, and again, be an interactive opportunity for everybody to be able to join in and be part of the discussions that we have. So, without further ado. And of course, I haven't introduced my beautiful colleague Jara, so I apologize. Let's talk about what is love. So,
what is love? Don't hurt me.
If you keep singing, we're going to have to change the topic to what is I don't like. But still, I'm just bugging you.
Okay.
So, Jara, would you like to start, or would you like me to give you my opinion on what I believe love is?
I will let you start.
Thank you. Throw me under the bus. No, I'm just joking.
And I will interrupt you, as I always do, because that's what I like to do.
And if you don't do that, then, I'll feel like something is wrong. But, so, let me just talk about what my opinions on love is and where it's present. A lot of people think, love, it's romance, it's that romantic interaction with my significant other. But it's not just that. Love it's a variety of different feelings. There's different states and attitudes, and it can range from affection or even pleasure. I love that meal, right? Everybody's gone through that. You go to a restaurant and you're like, wow, that was fantastic. Right after, obviously, you unbutton your jeans or your pants, you're saying, I love that meal.
After that is, I hated that.
Well, that's the next day. But, in the moment, you did love that. And again, there's so many different ranges. So there's emotion, there's attraction, there's attachment. Compassion is love. Kindness is love. And I wanted to, at least my interpretation of love is that it exists everywhere. It's present. I myself, I have the awareness, and I make it a point when I walk my dog in the morning to look up in the sky and watch the sunrise and enjoy that emotion. That's an actual emotion. I love that feeling. I love to hear the birds chirp early in the morning. I love to, take a walk and really just be in tune with myself, with my own thoughts, because, my dog he has no understanding of time zones, so he likes to wake up earlier than the rest of the world. But again, I enjoy that part. I mean, I don't like the part of after you walk the dog that you have to clean up, but that's neither here nor there.
But that is part of love.
Yes, I love him, even though he's crazy.
Are you saying that I'm crazy?
Well, again, we'll discuss this at another point.
Okay, So yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and for me, I'm gonna say that love is home. You know, love is home, and I say that love is home precisely because of what you're saying, because of the different instances of 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 your life, right? Different aspects or venues of your life in which you experience love, and and what you're describing right there is more like love is life. And I say love is home because it is the place. It is how you can feel in free of being who you are. So enjoying going out and enjoying picking up your dog's your dog's poop, and and at the same time enjoying the birds chirping. That is part of love. It is part of you being in sync with who you are, where you at, what you live. So I think that love is that is a very important part of love. And when it comes, and I think that we're talking about where love is present, and you've mentioned couples, you've mentioned being on your own, you've mentioned loving your job. Did you mention loving your job?
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of people are probably shaking their heads saying, you love your job?
Like you're
Believe it or not, I don't just love my job, I adore my job. My job is something that I've been very fortunate enough to, again, through my own personal experience of being coached, I've discovered what makes me happy. I've discovered what I want to achieve and what I want to do in life. And today I'm so proud to say that I'm working with a nonprofit organization whose main goal is to help and protect. And the feeling and the emotion I get from that, again, is love. It's something that I am wholeheartedly happy to do. And that's, again, where we talk about the variety of different feelings, right? This is a job. However, it's the feeling or the attachment to the job is related to the love for kindness, the love for compassion, the love for doing something that feels right to me. And I think that's, as you said, it's I'm sorry, you want to interrupt me. Everybody get used to this. Go ahead, Jara.
No, I just want to throw what I put there on the screen. That what you're saying about your job, and what we're trying to convey here, is that ultimately love is a decision. Love is a decision. You've made peace with the good side and the bad sides of your job, and you ultimately accept it, and you love it, and you have decided to not only enjoy your job but enjoy yourself in enjoying your job.
Yeah, actually, I'd even go a step further. I haven't. It's not even about making peace. It's more about being aware and respecting what I want. So, for example, one of the topics that we're going to discuss, and it's probably a really good segue here, is how important is love to you? For me, love is it's critical. And again, just to be clear, love is not limited to a relationship with a significant other, with the person you want to be with. Love for me is first and foremost myself. It's about loving and respecting and honoring what I want and what I believe is true to myself. So, excuse me, there's so much there. There's so much, and as I was mentioning, I was very fortunate to have a coach recently. And coaches do get coached as well. This is very important. Coaching is not a it's not just, for those of you who are listening, it's not as much a business as it is a want, something that we personally want to do for those around us, to be able to share an awareness and to be able to share these types of emotions. So I was very fortunate to be able to, through my own coaching experience, be more in tune and more aware with what I wanted to accomplish and what truly made me feel these emotions, and take advantage of that, the kindness, the compassion, the attraction or the attachment to something that's near and dear to my heart. So Jara, how important is love to you?
How important is love to me? Because we're sharing you just went there and share a personal experience. I think I have to share my experiences too, or I should share my experience too.
This isn't the story about the time that you woke up in a dumpster with all kinds of wine bottles around you, is it?
No, that never happened to me.
Oh, wrong person. I'm sorry.
Wrong person. No. This is about for me. How far am I? No. Yes.
How important? Well, you know what? The two questions really go hand in hand, right? How important is it?
Is love to me? I think that for me, love is everything. And for a long time, for a very long time, and sometimes a lot of people, and I feel that a lot of people struggle with this, as I struggle with this. I was looking for love outside of myself. I was looking to be loved rather than loving myself. And the biggest understanding for me, because love was so important to me and feeling loved was so important to me, is that I have become more and more in love with myself. And that has led me to experience places of being uncomfortable, places of loneliness, places of things that I thought that were love, but that were not truly love. Because going back to something that we said before, that I said before, is that love is this home. Love is this place where you feel free. And sometimes when we impose a definition of love that is not ours, or is not, that comes from the outside, we are trying to fit into that definition of love, and not really allowing love to express itself in us. And I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but if love or being love is that important for you, you're going to be open to destroy those concepts and create new ones in where you can be free and you can be yourself. And that is how important love is to me.
Absolutely. And you know what, Jara, you brought a point that I'm sure is going to resonate with a lot of people. Thanks for bringing that up, because, sometimes these types of things can put us or make us feel vulnerable. But that being said, I think to sum up what you just said, I mean, you're talking about, is loving yourself less important than feeling love? Are you willing to compromise yourself or compromise your own values and beliefs just to try to find a way to meet a want or a need? And this is what many people do today. So for those who are listening or who will be listening in the future, take a moment and ask yourself, what am I doing? Is loving myself less important? For example, and this is something that not only applies in your relationships or in love, obviously, but it applies in life itself. when we want to fill a need, or when we feel that we need to adapt, we feel either pressured, or we feel like we're looking um, to fill something, whether it be a want or a need. We're willing to do anything. And some of the times there's a big distinction between doing anything, as in I'm going to go above and beyond, I'm going to go out of my comfort zone, I'm going to work very hard. And there's a difference between that and saying to yourself, well, you know what, I'm going to tolerate things that I would not normally tolerate. I'm going to allow things to happen to me that are not part of my own values or principles.
Do you
And
think I'm sorry for interrupting you. I am, if people see me here that I am not looking at the camera, it's because I am answering people's questions right now. Because they're trying to get to the live feed and they don't know where to go to. So you were saying that you think that. Do you think that you say to yourself you're going to compromise, that you are going to lower the bar
so
to accept things that you don't want? Do you think you consciously do that?
that's a really good question. I myself, and look, no one is perfect. However, I myself was very, having gone through many different experiences in life, I've made the conscious choice and the decision to actually ensure that I've identified, I've created, I've defined my own boundaries. And those are boundaries that are non-negotiable. So certain things that do make me feel uncomfortable, or that I do not want to have happen in my life, I've already identified them. And I'm conscious of it. So if I see something, and this is difficult, maybe the first times for people, but when you see something you're not comfortable with, you have to understand that you are accountable for that decision. And if you allow something to happen, then you're putting yourself at risk, or in a stressful situation. Coming back to the
My problem. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to tie in before you chime in. I just wanted to tie in the what you were mentioning as far as loving myself more important than feeling loved. When I was younger, and I see it today through clients, and I see it with friends and colleagues and so on. For those who haven't taken the time, and who haven't seen or taken the time to truly respect, love themselves, and define these boundaries, what we end up doing, whether you believe it or not, and whether I'm hoping that you'll be able to catch yourself in this. When you allow something to happen that's uncomfortable, or that does not fit within your values, or that boundary that you've established, one of the things you end up doing is you try to find evidence to support that wrongful behavior. You try to convince yourself that it's okay. You try to brush off these things, but what we're not realizing is you're not being true to yourself. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you're going to say to yourself, well, how did I get here?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer that many of you, that probably most of you don't want to hear, is you got there because you allowed it.
Yes, and I think that is what you're saying right there. That is one of the biggest aha moments that you have in your life, and then you start like, oh my God, how did I allow this to happen? When you start allowing everything and and supporting it
with this wrongful
goes against you, against how you want to be treated, how you want to the goals, as simple as a goal, and I'm gonna put it very. We can be talking about very big things in a relationship, and we can also be talking about something as simple as someone calling you and asking you to go help them, and you have a deadline that you have to, to meet, and you leave that to go help someone, and then, you didn't respect your time, you didn't respect your responsibility in order to go help another person. So that is also supporting a wrongful behavior. That is also not respecting your own boundaries. So it can go from that
Mm-hmm.
to something that's, even bigger than that.
Well, I'll give you the perfect example. Okay, many of us, when we care about people, the most important thing is we want to be there for them.
Yeah.
And we will go out for those who we love, who are part of our inner circle, who really truly mean something to us. We will be there for them. We'll be that shoulder to cry on. We'll be the person they can just blow off steam to, and so on. And a lot of people, and I've seen this. This is a very common area or topic that gets discussed with my clients is, why don't they understand that I need my own time? Why don't they respect that I want to, do my own thing? Or why is it they always, whenever there's a problem, they come to me?
Yeah.
It's,
But that is
again,
a behavior that you have supported and that you have allowed. And it's not that it is bad, because it is also part of love to be there for the people that you love.
absolutely, but there's the boundary side, right? So what you need to do is be true and say, I'm here when you need me, but you also need to respect my boundaries. And one thing that many people do not understand is, the moment you say yes, if you do not put conditions, if you do not identify or be clear about your intentions and how far you're going to go to help others around you, then you've left an open-ended option to them. You say yes once, it becomes difficult for you to say no the second time. But more importantly, those around you will challenge you. It's sort of like you have a child, right? And and no disrespect to friends and family, but I'm just trying to make a little thing here.
Education. It's about where are the limits? Like, you have to know yourself enough to know where are your limits so that you can teach other people where your limits are.
Yeah. Well, think about this. How many people at work feel like they're automatically volunteered for something, or they're the go-to person for something, and they find it difficult to either say no, because maybe they're overwhelmed, or there's something that's going on, or if they do say no, they're actually being looked at differently, saying, well, why would you say no? They're actually made to feel guilty for that.
Yeah.
Again, this is the important piece here, is about defining those boundaries. And if you love yourself, then you have to trust your gut as well. You know what is good for you, what isn't good for you. And again, those boundaries, those principles need to be established. And if they're not established today, don't get me wrong, you can't change something from one day to the next.
Yeah.
But you do need to, if you want to be able to get that and enjoy and respect yourself, you do need to take steps towards that.
Yeah, and steps towards building that concept of self, that you have that we have of ourselves. And you were talking about, I think that now that we're talking about this definition of boundaries, and which is more like setting the foundation of where you're going to build whatever it is that you want to develop with a friend, with a couple, in your job, any kind of relationship that you want to develop, and setting the foundation is also our our next topic, right? Our next topic in the following weeks. I wanted to bring in some. It's short, but it's a definition, not a definition, but a manifesto of love that I found in a book that's called Letters to Claudia from George Bucay. And I think that it is very useful to establish healthy boundaries in terms of what love is about, or what the relationship of love should be about with yourself and with others. And one of the things that that this manifesto says, and I'm gonna throw it out there, is that it says, I want you to listen to me without judging me. I want you to give your opinion without giving me advice. And I think that what you were mentioning before about people's guilting you into not doing the things that they think you should do is part of that petition of boundary, right? You don't necessarily need to abide by everybody's expectations of you in terms of, what you're going to do, how you're going to react. It's more about a freedom to be yourself, a freedom to be yourself. And then, there's another part in this manifesto that says, I want you to trust me without demanding. So people, what you were just saying, people demanding from you actions when you know that you don't necessarily have the ability to do it, or you don't want to do it. So love is that respect and trust of allowing freedom for the other person. I want you to help me without trying to decide for me. And that is the big one for parents, parents trying to help the children. Usually, sometimes what they do is that they decide for the children. And even in couples, sometimes people establish these dynamics where one in the couple has the upper hand, and the other is the submissive one, and there is no, there's one that's always deciding for the other.
You mean that's wrong? Because I'm comfortable with my wife beating me all the time.
Are you?
No.
There is another one that goes like, I want you to see me without seeing yourself in me. So there's this idea of projection. Sometimes when we establish relationships with other people, we expect people to be like we are, right?
Absolutely, and I agree. But I really like all of these quotes, and you know what? It really, again, it speaks to that piece of these types of things happen. They happen on a daily basis. Ultimately, we are accountable for what we allow to happen.
Yes, we are accountable for what we allow to happen. But the thing is sometimes we're not even aware of what's happening. We find out later that we had allowed that.
Yes, and this is something that, again, I totally agree. That's a really good point. This is something that people, with time, will be able to pick up in the onset. Ultimately, again, it's I referenced work before, and many people being volunteered for things. But have you ever taken a moment and think about work for a moment? And there's always that one or two employees or colleagues who are never asked to do more than they do on a daily basis. And most of the time, you look at them and you judge them and you say, "Oh, they're lazy," or we can't count on them. But if you think about it, it it has nothing to do with laziness. It has everything to do with them being true to themselves and identifying from the onset what they are and not willing to do. So, and this is, I hope this resonates, because I personally shared this type of feeling many, many times throughout my career, especially early on in my career, saying, why is it that I'm putting in 80, 90, 100 hours a week, and this Joe Schmo is doing their 40 hours, but ultimately it had nothing to do with the fact that they did not want to do. They were true to themselves. They knew what their limitations were. They identified them from the beginning, so they were able to establish a boundary, and it had nothing to do with laziness. It had nothing to do with a disregard for their job. It had to do with loving and understanding what their limitations were and properly communicating them.
Yeah. And so it's about loving themselves. Yeah. So are you saying that you've been on that situation where those people that you judged at the beginning were the ones that you ended up admiring after?
Believe it or not, that's a great question. And yes, I used to say these guys have, initially I used to say, wow, if I could fire them, I'd fire them tomorrow.
Fire them tomorrow because they're not involved. They're not showing that they care.
They just want a paycheck, but no.
And you criticize them and you criticize them. But at the end, they are the ones that are living, maybe, right, because we don't know, but that are living a much healthier life than what you are living.
Absolutely, because an example, one of them had 5 children. One of them needed to be home because his spouse was working an afternoon shift. They shared many responsibilities with their children. They wanted to be involved with their children and their education and their future. So my respect, again, once I actually took the moment to think about this and started to get my own personal aha moments about establishing boundaries, my respect for these people changed dramatically, because I said, these are about people who understand what they can and cannot do. They are true to themselves, and they love many different things in life, and they want to be able to participate and be part of many different things in life. So, that being said, I went from wanting to fire these people to really having the utmost respect. Yeah.
Yes. So I am guilty of that too. I am guilty of that too. Yes, but that's how you learn. That's how you learn. But also going back to that being aware. So there comes a time when you are aware or you become aware. And I think that that is, I want to tie something that you said earlier. It would be, it definitely serves you to have a coach, to have someone or a psychologist, someone that can help you get into yourself and be able to become aware, really aware of how you act, how are the concepts that you have, and then help you also destroy all of that and build it up.
Broaden them. Yeah. Broaden them and exactly.
Broaden. When you broaden, you kind of tear. So there is, I mean, a foundation stays there, but you certainly kind of stretch it, everything, right?
Yeah. So I think a lot of people are waiting to hear that. I love the way you describe this. We've been on for about 40 minutes now, and
Oh,
all. Oh, you're getting excited. But you see, we're always going to do our best to try and keep this within a 30 to 40-minute window. Um, so the last point that we wanted to talk, and I know Jara's very passionate about this, so I'm just going to sit back and let her go. Um, Jara, you have a saying about love is also hate.
yes.
You want to tell us what that means to you?
Yes, I want to, because um tying this with what we've been saying and talking about, people that are always overstretching themselves, people that are always, carrying more than they can handle because they are also carrying other people's burdens. Um, or they put too much into a relationship to find out later that they were not, that it wasn't worth it, or whatever, however you want to describe it. I don't think that I don't think that what you put, it's not worth it. I always think that you get something back, and that's the way that we should focus, because there's always learning into whatever we do. But certainly, for me, one of the biggest lessons I've had about love is that love needs to involve hate. And I am not talking about violence. I am not talking about beating someone up. I am not talking about uh
Well, right off the bat, I just
deviate.
checked off. Sorry, I just drew a line through the two things that I wanted to do, but okay, so it doesn't involve it.
I am not talking about that. What I am talking is that in order to love, in order to really love involves also separation, and love involves limits, and love involves a line of demarcation into what is you, what am I, who am I, and what is the other, and who the other is, who I want to be, and who the other person wants to be. So when I say love is hate, I also mean that in order for you to settle your boundaries and to respect your boundaries, you have to be very, very clear about the things that you're not going to allow yourself to get into, right? To undefine you, to betray you, to violate you. So, there's a saying, or in Spanish, there is, again, a song.
Oh no, don't sing.
I'm not gonna sing.
Okay.
But there is this song that says, you can only hate what you have loved. So you can only hate what you have loved is, for me, a pairing, not of opposites, but of of a knowing, of knowing who you are and who you are not, and that which you are not, you dislike, you hate, not in a violent sense, but in a detaching way. I am not going to participate in this because I am not that person. I don't need this anymore. I have, this is the limit of my love. And I can love unconditionally, but I have to understand who I am and where I am in every relationship that I have. And so love is also hate, is understanding that there are things that I cannot and that I will not allow myself to do, because they destroy me, and I know that because I've lived, right? So it's that, you know. So love is also hate. For me, is that.
Uh, I understand what you're saying, and I respect that. I think the love is also hate. I think it's the does it make sense for me to give an example such as, you know, a relationship that's no longer there, and you catch yourself saying, "I hate that I allowed this to occur throughout the relationship." Is that what you're saying, or that you're meaning? I
Well,
hate that I allowed myself to be compromised, or I hate that I allowed myself to tolerate.
yes.
Um,
And
okay,
also, and the way that you're saying it, yes. And also, just recognizing that that which you experience, that you hate, that you allow to happen, is part of a bigger concept of love, which you start to know and understand when things like that happens. Because also we think that, and talking about in a relationship, right, when you are in a love relationship or in a work relationship or in any kind of relationships, there are moments of struggle, moments that you hate. Like I hate confronting people, right?
that's not true, because every chance you have, you always attack me. But you know, again,
No. But I hate confronting people, or I hate having a fight with my boyfriend, or I hate, you know, or with my husband, or I hate fighting with my friend. But
just sorry to cut you off there, but uh, you hate fighting with your boyfriend or with your husband. Have you ever fought with all of them all together?
yes, I
Oh,
hate
okay.
to fight with all the lovers involved in my life. No, but what I mean is, you know, you disregard, or people disregard as good, or label as good and bad. This is good, this is love. This is bad, this is hate. But when you come to think about it, love and hate, they're united, because whatever it is that you hate or you don't like about confrontation, or about moments of sour moments, or however you want to like them, there are part of the evolution of love, and they're part, it's incorporated. It's like you cannot have love without hate. Love, hate as a boundary, and hate as a growing tool. There it is all of that. And let's say if you're talking about breaking up and leaving your work, breaking up with a partner or a boyfriend, or deciding not to have a friendship anymore. That act of separation is also an act of love. So you cannot have that act of separation without affirming the love for
Yourself and what?
for yourself. So love is also hate. Love for yourself, love in your partner, love, you know, it's there. You cannot deny it.
I will. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate when you, especially when you get off on these. You know, I love when you're very passionate about something, because it shows to me that it's again it's about respecting and loving yourself, and um, sharing your beliefs, what you have as part of that boundary and that foundation that we were discussing. So um, that being said, I know that we're definitely over the time that we hope to remain in, but I love the fact that I'm fortunate enough to spend quality time with you, Jara, and the audience. And I love the idea of, well, Jack loves you too, but I love the idea of being able to discuss and to potentially and hopefully bring, you know, different types of insights and clarity and so on. Jara, we're going to be talking about our next episode. Again, as we said, it's about the foundation, but we've titled our next episode, "My Better Half, My Soulmate, We're Invincible." Oh, please. So again, the discussion is going to be about a foundation, the needs, the honeymoon syndrome, and again, being true to yourself and how you can incorporate all of these things to ensure that the foundation and the behavior and the boundaries play a huge role, not only in the beginning of any type of relationship, but as well, and just as important, wherever you are in a relationship. So again, the things that we're going to discuss here and we are discussing here aren't really just about starting something new. These are things that can be and should be looked into, practiced, applied, or actions taken with regards to relationships that already exist,
Yes.
whether it be in work or with your significant other or with a sibling or a friend or family.
And with yourself.
And especially with yourself. Yep. So that being said, my dear Jara, are you ready to take us away, or would you like to say something else?
I just want to say that I hope that everybody liked this and to share this video and to join us and to love Jack, love me. We love you. We are a happy family, and we'll see you next Friday. And you've been coached.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.